Investigators continue to piece together evidence in Friday's jet crash. Also at the scene, the Environmental Protection Agency.
The EPA has been monitoring air quality in that area, paying close attention to carbon fibers or fuel that spilled during the impact. 10 on your side's Art Kahn is at the scene where officials are expected to remove parts of the aircraft. And Art, how do they plan to do this safely?
Well, you know, that's a very good question, because they are spending a lot of time on detail because of what you just said, making sure they do this safely. This is a very long and tedious operation. We are just about 50 yards away from the courtyard of the Mayfair Muse Apartments where this is all taking place. If you look up there, you see the boom of the crane. That will be used to lift the engines out, and then from there what they will do is they will put them into these gray tubular containers. If we can go to the video we shot earlier, you'll get an idea of the potential hazards involved here. You can see fire crews as well as crash scene investigators going through a process of decontamination after leaving that area, and that's because of what you just mentioned. They're worried about them transporting particulate matter contaminants specifically from that scene, being the carbon fibers that are part of the composition of the aircraft, as well as any spilled jet fuel, as you mentioned. But they are expected to get those engines out of there today. One of the biggest things about that in doing this process is they have to make sure they minimize the chance of any of that particulate matter spreading when they cut through this in order to get those engines out and put into the containers. Battalion Chief, Virginia Beach Fire Battalion Chief Tim Riley told us about that yesterday.
We have applied multiple coats of floor wax on that. The floor wax makes those particulate matters heavier, they sink to the ground, and they don't become airborne. Also, the concentration of particulate matter is not that we believe is going to be a huge threat, but that's the reason the EPA is here. They're monitoring that, and if we see something, we'll adjust the plan accordingly.
Yeah, now we are right by the route that they will take once they get those engines crated up. I'm going to get photographer Greg Gadberry to show you where the vehicle will be coming with. Once they get the engines safely into the gray container boxes that I was talking about, which are basically like tubular shells, they will then put them on a truck bed and then wheel them right through here, as you see. Now, we're not exactly sure of the time frame involved in order to get this done. I will tell you, this is certainly the next big milestone in this investigation and working our way back to some sense of normalcy out here. But we'll be out here watching for it, and we'll be back in touch with you in just a little while in the second half of the show. From Virginia Beach Live, Art Kahn, 10 on your side.